Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Jazz Blog. I'm here today interviewing another Philadelphia talented musician, Mr. Rob Henderson. And Rob, we want to start right off by letting our audience know who you are and where you've come from musically. So tell us what got you into jazz.
I started playing when I was 17.
Okay.
And what led me to jazz, my father's brother, my Uncle Now, we would just visit him, you know, on weekends. Or
He was a musician?
No, he didn't play. He was just aficionado of the music. And some of his favorite artists was like people like Gene Ammons and Coleman Hawkins, and he would ask us questions like, "Who's the bean?" You know, and I mean, we like 10, 11, 12 years old, you know, and, you know, we would, you know, sometimes get it right, sometimes get it wrong, but I wasn't playing music. My father was an amateur musician. He was a blues guitarist. And his grandfather was a jazz musician in the early 1900s in the Baltimore area, trumpet player, and his mother's mother was an opera singer with the Grand Ole Opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got a history and lineage in the music.
Yeah. And and it trickled down to myself and my 4 other brothers. When I started playing, you know, we all played together.
Okay. All right. That was good. You had somebody to practice with all.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and it was fun. You know, we had a band in the late 70s, early 80s called the Henderson Brothers. Yeah, my brother Greg played trumpet, Fred played bass, Galen played saxophone, and Sean played trombone, and myself on drums. And
did you have any church music? You know, a lot of musicians you talk to say, I started in church.
No,
nothing like that?
No, we wasn't avid churchgoers at that time.
You did R&B, basically?
No.
You didn't play no R&B? You wasn't like James Brown?
No, I grew up listening to it, but as a musician, I always played jazz.
Oh, fantastic.
You know, I never played rhythm and blues or, I mean, I wish I did, you know, because I love it, you know, but I just, you know, I never played it as a musician.
By the way, tomorrow is James Brown's birthday. I just happened to be looking at a Black History calendar, and tomorrow, May 3rd, is the birthday of James Brown.
Oh, James Brown got to be about 75.
Probably. But anyway, what point in your life did you know you wanted to dedicate yourself to music? A lot of people take music lessons and get involved in music, and then they drop it. When do you remember when you decided to go ahead with it?
For me, being a musician, I've always worked and played. And I guess it happened by accident. I didn't really plan it. You know, I just the more I played, the more I played, it just kept coming, you know. And I remember when I did my first professional gig outside of playing with my brothers. I remember I had moved to West Philly, and it was a little RFW club around the corner. VFW, right. And I went around the corner, and it was John Glenn, baritone alto player. And as a matter of fact, he's mentioned in one of Coltrane's books where he taught Coltrane how to play these triads on his saxophone.
Was he related to Hicks Glenn?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know. But I could be wrong. And John Glenn was a real big guy, man. John Glenn was about 6'5".
What did he play?
Alto and baritone.
Wow, strongest player.
And Bert Payne was the guitarist who used to play with Louis Jordan, and you know, he made the rhythm and blues scene, and he was a phenomenal guitarist. And this fella named Samars, and incidentally, these 3 guys that I just mentioned, they all passed away now. And I'll never forget it. I was playing, and I did something, and I was just sitting in, and I did something and hit the cymbal, and the cymbal hit the floor. But it hit the floor right on the downbeat. And John Glenn said, I bet you can't do that again. And after that, they started calling me. You know, so I really made a mark in Philly, right there in West Philadelphia, just, you know, playing with the different guys.
Name some of the other clubs you played at, because, you know, we're doing a history thing here.
Well, I started out, I played at this little club at Market in Preston, which is 1 block down the street from Natalie's.
Okay.
And it was Sal Marsh,
okay,
Burt Payne, and myself.
Wow.
We was the rhythm section.
Okay.
And anybody who was a musician came by this place and played. And we played there. I was the house drummer there for about maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And let me tell you, that was one of the highlights to this day. And I've been halfway around the world playing music. But some of my greatest memories is in that little club right there, man.
And where was it at Market?
Market in Preston.
Market in Preston, about a half a block away.
About a half a block from Natalie's, right. And we would run back and forth. During intermission, we'd run down to Natalie's.
Okay.
And then it was time to go, all right, we got to get back to work. You know, and at sometimes there was a really fun drummer named Jimmy Turner. Sometimes he would call me to sub for him. Now, I'm 23, 24 years old. I'm on top of the world, man.
Calls some big name people.
Yeah, man. It was great, you know.
Well, let me ask you something. Are there any role models for you? Like, you know, Philly has turned out Philly Joe Jones and Lex Humphreys and Sherman Ferguson, things like that. Did you model yourself or have role models from Philly musicians or bigger than
Well, when you say role model...
Well, people that you looked up to or that inspired.
Musically, yes. I looked up to the major players, but there are a lot of guys that's right here locally that I looked up to, like Mickey Roker, Billy James, Al Jackson, his brother Dave.
Right.
I used to love Jimmy Turner. I like and some of the younger guys like Craig MacGyver, Butch Reed, Byron Landon.
Ooh,
you know, I'm a little older than these guys, but they have a lot of knowledge about drums. Okay. And I've studied with these people, you know, and I'm older, but they have information that I need, and I'm the type of person I seek information.
You're never too old to learn.
Yeah.
What about Lucky Thompson?
I love Lucky, man. I love Lucky, man. Lucky. I suppose Lucky was in Germany earlier this year, right? And I was supposed to relieve him, you know. But you know, I got tied up with family, and
so he had to do the whole thing.
Yeah, I did it last year, you know. But this year I had to back out of it. You know, I didn't feel like traveling, and you know, I'm a single parent, and you know, my daughter's young.
Yeah, that's important.
And she said, "Dad, if you go to Germany this time, you have to take me with you." And I was like, "Sweetheart, they're not going to pay for your ticket."
And Daddy won't.
Right now. So I decided to stay home this time.
Speaking of that, I know you're doing some exciting things coming up in the near future, and we want the audience to know what those things are and where you're going to be and what kind of things you're working on. So why don't you share some of that with our audience?
Yes, on May 13th, I'll be performing with my new H Factor group, which consists of Bernard Samuels on piano, Pete Coangelo, who's a member from, I've been playing with Pete since he was 19 and he's about 36 now.
Okay.
Yeah, Pete Coangelo is on bass, and James Stewart from Trenton, New Jersey is on tenor saxophone, and myself. We're going to be playing at the Rose Jazz House, located at Germantown and Schoolhouse Lane.
Yeah, that's a great facility. They serve great food, and the environment is right for jazz. And they're really bringing it back. They're trying to bring jazz back to Germantown.
Yeah, it's refreshing because it's not a lot going on in this area. I mean, there are a few spots, but it's never too many. And, I mean, there's so many fine musicians here in the city, and we need as many places as we can get to work. We
certainly do, because the less places there are, the less work it is for musicians.
That's true, and you have to do a lot of work behind the scenes, you know, which is fine, but most musicians want to be seen and heard, you know, and I've always, you know, throughout most of my career, I strive to be accepted by my peers, you know. I mean, if you play well, if your peers think you play well, then playing for the audience, you know, it's like, you know, there's nothing to it. You know?
So what kind of things are you going to be playing in this summer? I know you're going to be on the 13th of May.
Yes,
13th of May.
Yes.
And those sets are from 8 to 10.
Yes.
8 to 10 at the Rose. Are you doing anything else this summer or in upcoming months that we can share with our audience in case some people who are maybe in other countries that'll be here later in the summer might want to come check you out?
Yes, I'm doing the What's So Playing Jazz Festival.
Okay, that's like June 10th or
June the 24th.
Okay, June 24th.
Yeah, I'll be performing the 24th and the 25th.
Okay.
On the 24th, I'll be with my band at Cornbread and Coffee.
Right, right. Yeah. Bread and tea or something.
Yeah. Right, it's like a Midwestern thing out there.
Gotcha.
In the morning, they drink coffee with cornbread, which is good too, man. I'm telling you, I like it.
Kansas City thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the next day, I'll be performing with Bernard Samuel's sextet. You know, which is gonna both shows are really gonna be slamming.
Okay.
And in September, I'll be doing the Tony Williams Jazz Festival.
Fantastic. Another great festival.
Yeah, and the day before that, Labor Day, I'll be doing the Chaz Ford Winery Jazz Festival.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a really fun festival. Well, they both are great festivals.
I've never been to Chaz Ford, but I've heard
you would love it.
How long has it been going on? Just a few years?
This is my 4th year doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's great.
Right. Well, I'll try to get that type of information from you, and I'll include that in the article that goes along with the video so people know where to go.
Yes.
But folks, you need to come out and support the music and support Philadelphia's fine musicians like Rob. Rob, let me ask you something. Did you ever play at the Club Morgan's?
Yeah.
Give me a story about playing at Morgan's, because everybody seems to have one.
Oh, boy, I played with Morgan a week before Whitney Marsalis.
Ah.
Yeah.
Was that presidential weekend or something like that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's been a few years now, but I've played Morgan several times.
Okay.
I came in there with a slamming group one time with trombonist Tony Hurdle, and we were performing with a singer named Nathan Ingram III, who now resides in Japan. He's been in Japan for about 10 years now.
Wow.
You know,
there's a good possibility there's a tape of that then.
Oh, could be.
It could be. I've been working with the owner, the previous owner. He had a lot of things recorded, so if there is, I'll definitely get back to you and let you know.
Yeah, we did, I think, a Friday and Saturday, or could have been Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
You know, and I remember Sam Reed being on that gig.
Okay.
Myself, Tony Hurdle, and I can't even remember the rest of the rhythm section.
But now, what impact has living in Philadelphia had on you as a musician? Do you think you would have still evolved to the same level you are somewhere else, or is there something special in the fiber of Philadelphia that helps make musicians?
Well, with my character and by me knowing how I am, I would have been able to survive
somewhere
anywhere
else. Okay.
But having the pleasure and being blessed to have traveled abroad, it's nothing like Philadelphia.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to New York. I used to go back and forth to New York. But Philly is our style just supersedes, you know. I may be a little biased because I'm a Philadelphian.
And me too.
You know, but it's
got something special with it.
Yeah, it's something special, and we have a uniqueness about the way we play and our style. And I noticed everywhere else in the country and in the world, when you mention that you're from Philly, you get special attention.
Yeah.
Just 2 weeks ago, I went up to Montclair, New Jersey, and played with Ted Curson.
Okay. Oh.
And Bernard Samuels and myself. Okay. And I'm telling you, the people were so warm. Ted kept calling us back up. Them guys from Philly, y'all come back up here on the stage. Y'all come back. It was like
Philly jazz is a commodity.
Yes, it is.
And that's part of the reason for my blog, that I thought Philly jazz needed to be promoted a little bit more, or at least made available, and that's why I do interviews with musicians like yourself, so in case people worldwide don't know about Philly jazz, they can get a little flavor of it anyway, and then hopefully tune in either by buying your CDs or other music, or when they come to Philly, checking out some of the locations.
Yes.
And so you definitely want to tell us, if you have some music available, how people watching this might be able to get your music.
A couple of years ago, I tell you, my first CD came out in '96.
Okay.
Which, Rob Henderson, the H Factor, and it was entitled Less Is More. And it was my maiden voyage, and it made a really big impact in Philly.
Okay.
But one of the things that I was really blessed with. In 2003, when I put out my second CD as a leader, that CD went national.
Okay.
Without promoters, you know, with just me working the rings, man.
Gotcha.
And it went up. It went on the national charts, and it climbed up to number 20 and stayed, you know, it stayed in the, from 1 to 20 for 13 weeks, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
And I was, you know, doing interviews across the country, and it was really,
fantastic.
It was
all right.
fascinating.
So tell our audience how they can get that. Okay. You on CD Baby or
CD Baby, Amazon.com,
okay.
Tower Records,
okay.
Cadence Records. You know, I had distribution by Cadence, so you can get it almost any major record store.
Well, folks, go out. I don't hear your feet yet, but you need to be running out the door, getting a hold to Rob's 2 CDs.
Yeah.
And what are the names again?
Less is More and RH Pop.
Okay, all right, folks. Make sure you get those. Support the music. What else can you share with us about what you're doing, Rob, or any of the projects you're involved with musically?
Yeah, well, what's important to me that supersedes everything that I do is my love and devotion for God.
Gotcha.
You know, I think that's in anybody's life. You just need that spiritual.
Without him, we're nothing.
Yeah,
right.
and second, raising my family.
Okay.
You know, my young daughter here.
Okay.
Come say hello. This is my young daughter Kayla, and
all right, Kayla.
This is what I do. This is.
Are you a musician
very
too,
important
Kayla?
to me.
Kind of.
Kind of. What's going to be your specialty? What instrument are you going to play?
Guitar.
Guitar? All right. Well, we'll keep an ear out for you. So you got to practice a little more, you know.
Yeah.
And then when you start performing, we'll be out there trying to support you too. It's important to support all of our artists, musicians or otherwise. And say hi to the people, because this is going on the internet, and you'll get a chance to watch it in a couple days when your father brings it back up.
Okay, go ahead and play sweet.
All right, well, audience at Philadelphia Jazz Blog, we're going to spend a few more minutes with Rob. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead and finish up.
I was stressing the importance of family.
Gotcha.
And, you know, being a good parent, you know, it enhances everything that I do musically.
Okay.
You know, knowing that I'm, you know,
taking care of that part.
Taking care of home.
Right. And
you know,
on the family tip, Philadelphia's a big jazz family. So what kind of young people are coming up in the Philly jazz family? Anybody you know specifically that we're going to record on tape and predict that in a few years they're going to be hitting it? Who do you know about?
There's a young drummer in Philadelphia. World, you have to hear this. There's a young drummer named Justin Faulkner.
Justin Faulkner.
He's about 15 years old.
Okay.
This young man plays drums like you would not believe.
Okay.
I mean, he's a genius.
Well, folks, you heard it first here on Philly Jazz Blog. Justin who?
Justin Faulkner.
Justin Faulkner.
Yes, look out for this young man.
Look out, keep an ear out for him.
Jimmy Heath seen him. Jimmy Heath said, I hope I live long enough to play with you.
Wow.
That's right.
That's a compliment.
This young man is no joke. So, yeah.
Right. So that's good to know. There you go. That's one for the record books, folks. You heard it on Philly Jazz Blog that Justin Faulkner is going to be a force to reckon with on the music scene in a few years.
Yeah.
And when Justin sees this, I'm sure he'll be thankful for the plug.
Right on.
Right. So who else can you tell me about? Who else is in the ranks coming up that you might want to identify or that you've worked with? Who are you mentoring? Because, you know, a lot of times musicians have a little prodigy person on the side that they're working with.
Well, me, I do most of my mentoring. I have a inspection station, an auto repair shop.
Okay.
And most of the mentoring that I do really doesn't deal with music. Just trying to teach young people to be respectful,
better people,
understanding, and giving back to society.
Now you did mention the young people at a high school in Jersey to me a couple of months ago. What's going on with that?
I was at Pennsauken High School about a month ago.
Okay.
And they had every year they have this competition.
Right.
And it was maybe 11, 12 different schools. And there was the next to the last band. All the young students was great.
Okay.
But this particular band from the Camden School of Creative Arts.
Right.
These young people got on that bandstand and lit it up like you would not believe. Okay. And I mentioned this to the saxophonist and educator Tony Williams.
Okay.
And he told me that the conductor of that band was one of his students years ago. Right. With the organization that he has with the children.
Mount Airy Cultural.
Right.
Mount Airy Cultural Center. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it just goes to show how his program is working and producing.
Right. Right. Untold numbers of people.
Yes. Yes, because he was one of his students, and now he's conducting these young kids, and they sound like they were ready to go on the road immediately.
Did you tell me they won an award? Who won some kind of?
Well, Pennsauken High School jazz band won the Berkeley College Award for Outstanding High School Band.
Jazz band.
Yeah, and my bassist, Pete Coangelo, he's an English teacher at Pennsauken High School,
okay.
so he helps put this thing together that we do every year with the students.
Well, kudos to Mr. Colangelo and from helping with that, because it's so important for us to instill the people with not only musical skills, but also the part you're doing about the values that they need to carry forth, whether they go into music or just into the rest of life.
Exactly.
There's certain values that they need to have, and it's important for us to impart them. So.
And the good thing about music, though, it teaches you discipline.
Yes.
And I think that's where a lot of young kids coming up in music, they learn discipline.
Right.
And you need that to carry you through life.
Right. Sports and music, I think, both offer other aspects that people don't necessarily see right away, but that later on round you off and make you a better person because of your involvement.
That's true. So, and most people always see the finished product.
Right.
They never see the diamond in the rough.
Exactly.
And it's funny because for me as a musician, I didn't have any formal training or education as a musician. Okay. Until later in life, but 90% of what I learned on the Philadelphia jazz scene. So if anybody enjoy what I do, thank the Philadelphia jazz scene for it, because I came up as a musician on the Philadelphia bandstand.
It's interesting that you said that, because I failed to ask you about formal education, which I usually do with musicians, but in some cases formal always doesn't make you click.
Well, that's true,
that feel and the natural thing out in the community or learning where you learn seem to have worked for you, and other people would have to go to school for it.
Yeah, well, I still inspired to study with different people. Okay. And I've always strive to become what they call a legit drummer, more so than a natural drummer.
Right. I understand.
If I can blend the two, which I'm in the process of doing, that'd be great. And I would like to mention that I am in the middle of a project of recording my third CD as a leader.
Fantastic.
And I'll be doing some original materials, and I'll be showcasing the fine compositional skills of Mr. Bernard Samuels. He's really a great writer.
He has been under the radar for so long.
I know. Well, I think this CD coming out now is going to be The H Factor Introduces Bernard Samuels. I mean, Lucy Barnes put an album out years ago called Been Here All the Time. Right. Well, Bernard been here all the time, but he should get the award. Artist deserving more recognition. Okay. Because he's a fine writer and a great player, man. Fantastic. And we got this project going on now that we are both really happy about. So,
Bernard, when you see this one, you can see that Rob did give you the plug he promised.
Yeah, right.
And then two, know that Philly Jazz Blog is looking for you so we can do an interview on you. Get your face out on the internet and let people know about what you're doing musically. So, Rob, I'd like to thank you for your time with us and sharing with our viewing crowd from Philly Jazz Blog, and tell them to look forward to hearing more about you and what you're doing in later excerpts, and to definitely come out May 13th to LaRose at Germantown and Schoolhouse Lane and see Rob Henderson and the H Factor.
Yes.
And perform, including Mr. Bernard Sanders.
Yeah.
So what's your parting shot to the people in the world, Rob? Tell them what's your parting shot?
Live your life for God. Do God's will and not your own, and you will succeed as a responsible human being to society.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson, and good night.